What's up, everybody? It's Stepano here, and I promised you guys a video, so I will make this video about my Pathfinder, and I wanted to explain to you guys a lot of things. So first and foremost, I wanted to thank the people at MF Academy Discord that are very adamant about playing Pathfinder. I don't want to forget people's names, but people that helped me specifically were Thresh, Roach, Guffin, and Grey Beast. Uh, each and every one of them uh, has played a version of this type of build. So this build isn't original to me or anything like that. I just like adopted what they told me, plus what I like to do in the game, plus what other people have been doing for quite a long time. So this is just like a combination of a bunch of concepts in a max IIQ IIR build. But there's no way I could have made this build without like the help of like people at MF Academy Discord, the people at IVIS Discord, and just the people that are just really, really adamant about MFing and that have taught me so much. So first thing is I have 2 points left over, and I just want to show you guys if you do Blood Rage, it takes from your ES first and then it goes to your life. And that was really quick, so you can't really see that, but hopefully when Blood Rage is done, we're gonna get back our life. And we don't have too much ES, but maybe if I could put out, I can show this a little bit better if I put like on an ES chest or something. Or ES boots or something. So if I hit my Blood Rage, it's gonna take from my ES first and then go to my life. And what that causes is a huge problem. That's kind of what I was trying to show you there. And that is why, with 2 points, I go Eldritch Battery. And I don't have that problem ever. So, you guys are wondering why I use Eldritch Battery on the build. So that when I Blood Rage, it just straight takes from my life. Doesn't have to worry about my taking from my ES. So what happens is if you're not Eldritch Battery, it takes 4% from your ES and 4% from your life, but your ES protects your life. So if you get a bunch of headhunter buffs, physical damage goes to your ES first. So you can get 3,000 ES, and now the Blood Rage will not be affecting your life pool. Divination Distillate won't be on. So that's why I think you should use Eldritch Battery on this build. And just to give you a little bit of an understanding of how this build works is we use Blood Rage to hurt our life. And Blood Rage degen, as long as we have a big enough life pool, 4% of our life is more than the amount you recover from the Divination Distillate per second. So when I hit Blood Rage, my life will go down, and I hit the Divination Distillate, and it will go up, but it won't stop being used because it can't out heal the degen. I can show you one more time. I hit the Blood Rage, up for 11 seconds. I hit the Flask, and it won't go down because it's up the whole time. So this allows us now to use the Divination Distillate with with no other flask. So it's before people were using 2 flasks that gave you no damage, and it would mess up the builds and stuff like that. And what Petrified Blood does is it allows you to use Blood Rage to degen yourself, and then you regenerate your life with the Divination Distillate. But because the Divination Distillate is very little life per second, it will be up the whole time. All right. So, how do we scale Flask Effect? Well, to scale Flask Effect, you need to definitely go a Pathfinder. So let me tell you some things that I think are a must for this build. And we can go from there. So personally, I don't like the enchantments that say you don't gain charges during when Flask is in effect, because now you have a downtime. So I just use when charges are full personally. And I have to manually push my divination flask. If I'm MFing super hard, I'll put a rarity flask here. If I'm just speed running maps, I'll put this here. If you're gonna go Pathfinder, Spike Concoction gives you Alchemist Genius when you use a flask, and this basically gives you 10% Flask Effect, where you can't really get Flask Effect easily in this game. So Alchemist Genius is a must, and there's only one other way to get it in this game that I know of, at least off the top of my head, and it would be this Essence of Horror on a belt. But because we use Headhunter, can't use the Essence of Horror. So we need one jewel that gives a Spike Concoction. Being a Pathfinder, to get max Flask Effect, you need to grab your Ascendancy points, Nature's Boon, Veteran's Boyer, Nature's Adrenaline, and if you want max Flask Effect, you use the last 2 points for the tiny notables for 5% and 5%. On the tree, you have 5% here, 5% here. You have 10% here on natural remedies, and you want to go down for less charges used, most likely. And over here, you have 5% effect plus the mastery. I put the mastery here for 15 total percent. So this notable, it's called Natural Remedies, Careful, Conservationist, and Primal Spirit is where you're going to get your Flask Effect from the tree itself. Furthermore, I'm a big proponent of using a Lethal Pride to get Intimidate. There are plenty of good gloves, and if you don't need a spot for Intimidate on the glove, you can have a damage mod, and Intimidate plus double damage on a Lethal Pride, in my opinion, is much better than a Legacy Abyss Jewel. So I have 10, 5, 2, 3. That's what it gives me. It gives me double damage on Charisma, double damage on Revenge of the Haunted, and 10% Intimidate on Ballistics. We are starved with points. There's a million things you can put in this spot, but we have decided through trials and tribulation, Roach has convinced me that the Unnatural Instinct Viridian Jewel is the best in spot jewel above Fervor. Don't at me. It gives you all this stuff. You basically lose 30 multi and you gain all this stuff for 2 points. You can't beat it, bro. You can't beat it, bro. All right. So then, now you have your Unnatural Instinct. You have a Lethal Pride that you divine for some double damage. And if you get lucky, you get some Intimidate. You have your Flask nodes. And right here. And now you want to save as many points as you can. So I decided to anoint Forces of Nature because this is my favorite point on the current tree. This is my absolute favorite point on the current tree. One place that you can drop points is Master Fletcher. If you feel like your accuracy is capped, attack speed, you will gain attack speed by killing rare monsters while wearing a Headhunter. It will be okay. Attack speed looks very, very good on POB. But at some point on a Headhunter build, you do not need too much more of it. That's a personal opinion. If you feel like you need all the attack speed on the tree, feel good, go ahead, take it. I took it. I'm just saying, if you need this, these 4 points are okay to drop, basically. Now we're playing Tornado Shot, and everyone says, hey, you need a certain amount of projectile speed to make Tornado Shot feel good. So on my current build, I have 135. How do I get it? I have Streamline for 20% projectile speed. So one projectile cluster, another projectile cluster. So that's 40%. On this projectile cluster, if you know that your build's gonna work right and it's tanky as hell, and you want to protect the people in your party, you buy one, you get 1 jewel with streaking bolts, and this will protect your party. It will make them get 10% less damage. That's why I went with that one. If you're going point blank on a Pathfinder, I'm pretty sure IIR is one of the better ones. But again, the second notable is really up to you, but you just want to make sure you have streamlined on 2 of your clusters. Then you have the more projectile mastery in the right here for more projectile speed. But if you guys do not know about this technology, forget about what I just said in all the other videos. This is the most important technology of PoE today. If you link anomalous blood and sand, yo, another guy, he's like, yo, Dap, stop being a boomer. Try anomalous blood and sand to enhance. I learned it from Iron vs. Wild. Stop being a boomer. Roach saved me, bro. He said, yo, do this. All right. So it gives me 44 projectile speed at 8% cost. Very, very, very little cost of my mana for 8% for a big gain. If I push D, it will change the sand stance, and my projectile speed goes down to 84. My tornado shot is at basically, it's still pretty much capped on projectile speed, I'm pretty sure, but barely. I'm pretty sure 85 and up is okay. And I'm gonna have to experiment more with that, but I went a little bit over just because I don't know. I wanted to make sure it felt really, really good. Again, I'm not sure. You guys can comment on below what is the threshold for projectile speed in a tornado shot. So I'm at 135. I'm pretty sure 88 and up is when it starts to feel really, really good. All right. Yep. How do you have so many auras? Well, when you do this setup, you have these reservation nodes. You get 15% more reservation here, and you have 2 more reservation nodes here. Or 1 more right here. In my chest, I have level 16 vitality. It does not need to be this high. I have arrogance. Arrogance is what puts the aura on my blood, on my life. Enlighten 4. Divergent precision, divergent clarity, and warburner. This is a 10% mana. This is this 279 mana, 186 mana, and 189 mana. So like when they're on arrogance and I have a big life pool and they're flat manas, a lot of them, it doesn't actually hurt my pool that bad, especially with the reservation and the enlightened 4 connected to it. So that's how I can get 4 auras easily on my life without going overboard. And just so you know, this space right here, this is called, like, I made a name for it. It's called headroom. It's the bigger this space is, the more time you have for your divination distillate before you have, like, if you mess up, before you have to fix it again. So if this space gets too close and you get 51% reserved, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, it can get really uncomfortable, because if you let your flask recover, you only have like a millisecond to correct it. Where if you have bigger headroom, the headroom is like right here. When you have bigger headroom like this, you have tons of time to fix any mistakes that are occurring. All right. In my helmet, I have Anger, Enlighten 4, Period of Elements, and Petrified Blood. So with Enlighten, I can reserve a 50%, a 50%, and a 35%. And all I have on the tree is these 2 points, the Reservation Mastery and this. So why is my build unique and why is it super cool? And why did I bug the guys at MF Academy to make my build feel super, super good. Well, I'm so tanky. I don't know any better way to put it than I'm so tanky, guys. I keep changing the build a little bit here and there. I was actually getting a little bit frustrated with having 75 chaos res. Because when I had 75 chaos res and I had energy shield, it was very hard for me to take damage on my life. And if I didn't take damage on my life, my build doesn't work. And that's why I decided to go electric battery, and I'm doing a few changes on my build, so I'm a little bit less. But I do, now that I'm electric battery, I do plan on capping my chaos res. But why am I tanky? Well, first thing, I'm using a legacy taste of hate. So what ends up happening when I use a taste of hate in the game is defenses. See, I don't know if it shows up in the tooltip anywhere. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't show up. But let me see if I can get something. Okay, so look at, I have 5 projectiles at the moment. When my dying sun goes down, I have 2. So skills fire 2 projectiles. I have so much effect, that means I have 1.5 times effect or more. Because if I hit this, I get 5 arrows. Right? So I go from 2 to 5. So you know I have over 150% effect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna import the build. So Forgotten Trove Pathfinder standard, boom, boom. Put them in. We'll click double damage on these. Turn on all the flasks. We have Tornado Shot as the main skill. We go to config. We have power charges and frenzy generation. And the way that we personally get power charges, and I really like this node, is Storm Rider. And the way that we get frenzy charges is our own quiver. So with power charges and frenzy charges, I guess we have elusive, which whatever, we have elusive from the boots, I think. Have you crit recently? Sure. 50 resonance. That don't matter. Have you ignited, chilled, frozen, shocked? I'll put 15%. Intimidated. All right, so we're at 1 million damage. We have, so I'm going to tell you one thing about my builds. They're never going to show you a billion zillion damage on PoE. PoB. That's not what I do. I make good builds that work, personally. I love this build. This is with item rarity, item quantity. So it's Tornado Shot, Trinity, Awaken Elemental Damage, and Mirage Archer. If you really feel like you don't have the damage, I think you can go Awaken out of cold and maybe disable Mirage Archer. That might feel, if you're good at aiming the bow and you don't mind not having Mirage Archer, that might feel better. Okay. Bro, how do I get Alchemist Genius? Dude. Oh. Alright. So what happens when we have all of our flasks up? Also, man. Okay, so that was what was missing. So what happens when we put all our flasks up? We're at 56 chaos res currently, and we're at 85 fire, cold, and lightning. Now, if you go to calculations in POB, you scroll all the way down here, you have an effective health pool. And if you mouse over physical damage, 51% of my cold is taken, or my physical damage is taken as cold, and that's all coming from my taste of hate flask. Right? So if I go to my items, I turn off my taste of hate, I mouse over it, it tells you in calcs 80% of the damage is taken as physical and 20% of it's taken as fire. And I can only take a hit of 8,000. Now I turn on the taste of hate. Again, I'm a Pathfinder, so it's going to be up all the time. And I get an effective HP of 21,000. So something has to hit me for 21,000 physical damage to one-shot me. And it's because my taste of hate and these two mods I have. So on my tree, I have a Watcher's Eye. It gives me 50 crit multi, 50 chaos res, and 12 mitigation. And on my helmet, I have another 8%. So 70% of incoming physical damage is converted to my fire, cold, or lightning damage, which is at 85%. So 85% resistances to mitigate that. And then on top of that, I have a one mod that makes me immune to reflect and gives me 5% reduced elemental damage taken. And then on top of that, we have, again, the Taste of Hate that says 20% less cold damage taken on the implicit. And we have the Dying Sun that says 20% less fire. If we go back here, if you go in the lightning column, because we're not using Victor's EHP on our elemental, just for the mod, just for the one mod that says 20% less damage taken from the flask, we gain 20,000 EHP. And then finally we have Chaos, which Chaos doesn't really hit that hard. So if you have positive Chaos res in the high numbers, I don't think you really need to worry about it too much. But we can only take a hit for 10k. While clearing the map, we have 1.3 damage, 1.3 million damage. And if we fight a boss, standard boss, we're at 1 million damage. So like a Beyond boss or something. And then Shaper's at 800,000. And Ceres is at 800,000. Now we are using Tornado Shot. Tornado Shot shotgun. So this doesn't matter. The number of damage, more damage is better. Sure. But we are max IIQ IIR build. So in my opinion, this is just enough damage to do what we want. And let's put this flask in. Let's see if we can look on POB. If we drop our movement speed flask and we put our dabbler's gold flask and we go to calcs and we change our skill to tornado shot, our IIQ is 208 and our increased rarity is 547. We're running around with million DPS on tornado shot. Nothing can really kill us, right? And we have 1 million damage. Now, what is our order of operation of tornado shot and how is it interacting with the mobs? Like how do we get tornado shot to shotgun? Well, I got lucky and like a long time ago I bought this Wind Ripper and I've been trying to make it work forever. And because of the boys at MF Academy, I got it to work. And I do one fork, level 1 fork, and this is actually a 10% less damage mod on my bow. I have a 7-link bow and I fork once and that's it. I don't got a chain. I got nothing. So what I do is I do have +1 curse on my chest and I have elemental weakness. So if I find a hard boss, because they can't kill me, boom, I put this curse on him. Now I got, what does this say? Curse enemies take massive amounts of damage, and projectiles which hit curse enemies split towards 5. It basically is like a chain slash fork, which I'm already doing, and it's really, really good. So as I told you before, I have Blood and Sand on Enhance, and I have Sniper's Mark on Enhance. And just so you know, putting Sniper's Mark on Enhance is 6% more damage on any build that uses it. Alright. Furthermore, let's do a quick map. And we're going to do a map with movement speed because the build looks kind of bad if you're running around slow and stuff. But when you're doing juice maps and you're forcing Maze Blood to drop, you don't really care about your movement speed. But when you're debuting the build to YouTube, you want to look good. So what does this build look like on a... Okay, I guess we're on tier 12 alleyways. Reason we're on tier 12 is we were farming for harvest. Again, this build is pretty good solo, but it's amazing in group play if you have, you know, at least a curse bot. Well, you need a curse bot that doesn't die, or you need an aura bot and a curse bot, and this build becomes crazy. If you're willing to do lower level red maps, this build becomes crazy in my opinion. But at the moment, the way I'm building my build, you're not gonna want to run into a tier 16 juicy map. This build can even kill tier 16 bosses, and I can show you that too. But let's just do this alleyways. Because it can't take damage, it can do a lot of things, but you want to feel comfortable when you're playing the game, right? And by all means, I'm not sure if this is the best version of the build yet. I totally think I can improve the build. I'm working on cluster jewels. I'm working on a ton of things, but I just think the build is kind of amazing right now. And I'm gonna go down to my tornado shot so you guys can see. You don't see the rarity flask because I'm using a movement speed flask, but you can see the 208 quant is basically up the whole time I'm playing the game. And if it wasn't up the whole time, then what would happen? I would take a lot more damage because I'm converting all my physical damage to my elemental, and if I didn't have, you know, 10 cap res, it would be really bad. So certain map mods that I would avoid: minus res, and basically minus res, and then if you want, you know, I guess 100% avoid ailments wouldn't be good if you want to make sure your power charges and your Trinity would be working 100% properly. Trinity should be fine no matter what, but I don't know, like I put 15% shock effect, right? You wouldn't be getting that in a reduced ailment map. So I would avoid reduced ailment map if it was 100%, if you're using misinformation, and I would not do minus res map if you're basically running solo. Or even maybe with aura bots, because minus res is kind of tough. Other than that, I'm pretty sure it can do like basically any other map mod. You have to, you know, account for physical reflect by getting alternate gems. Trinity has an alternate version gem, and so does Tornado Shot to get you 70% conversion. And I think, you know, you have enough defenses to mitigate the rest of it. And I guess we just do this thing, and we won't have buffs or whatever when we get to them. No, I can't do. Oh yeah, Hydra might be a good one. Let's see if we can do Hydra.
One of my captives wore many faces, yet kept her true face.
So the big thing I didn't get to explain when I was showing my tree is all my damage comes from my Abyssal Jewels. This makes my build really easy to manipulate, right? Change the weapon. I changed the boots. but my damage is going to still be very similar. It's going to be has a very strong foundation, and it's all on the tree with Legacy Abyss Jewels. So, in my opinion, there's no way to do MF besides using Legacy Abyss Jewels. Other ways are okay, but to me, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but they're kind of like a hybrid build where they're very, very good, but they're not like if you want to min max them. I don't see them being easily min maxable for high IIQ, high IIR. When you put all your damage of your build in your tree with double legacy lightning jewel. Whoa, bro! I put a wand jewel in here, bruh. And I have onslaught flask. All bro. See, even streamers make mistakes, chat. Let's go look. Let's go look at what we got in the supplies, bro. Bro, I swear I wrote bows, dude. But let's go put this one in. Or this one. All right, we'll just put this one in. So, as you can see, this has like tons of flat damage. This isn't even a perfect jewel. This is where I get my phasing. Again, tons of damage. %5 attack speed, 12 multi, double legacy lightning. Corrupted blood, lightning, cold life. So I get tons of flat damage on these jewels, and I'll tell you, like, having to put the lethal pride in, having to put the unnatural instinct in, it's hard to lose these base jewels, having to put the Watcher's Eye in. You gotta make sure you have a lot of flat damage on them, in my opinion. The more flat, the better. Multi is a good mod, guys. But I want to show you guys something. One thing, this is so important. You go config and you start running juiced maps, right? What happens? Enemy takes reduced crit. High tier says 40%, right? My damage, what happened to my damage, chat? 826 went to 500. Now you misinformation, so they have 60% reduced crit. Look at the damage, dude. The more you make your build less relying on how many times you attack in a second and how much crit multi you have and just on the pure unnerfable damage, you'll feel that in game. And that's my opinion. And I feel it in game. That's what I do. So, I mean, I think I've given you guys a pretty good idea of like where my build's at and stuff like that. But if you guys still have questions, please just ask in the comments below, or just come to the Discord or the stream or whatever, and I'll definitely help you guys out. I have no problem trying to get your Pathfinder on the ground, Pathfinder off the ground. Now you don't have to do this full crazy MF IIQ stuff. You can do this on any type of Pathfinder build, and the only requirement being is you need a +6 all res divination distillate. You can take the MF out of the equation and become a tanky Pathfinder with any skill you want, as long as you set this up right. In the links below, I'm going to put a link to the MF Academy Discord if anyone wants to go there and check it out. And I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. And sorry it was so long. I am very passionate about this build. I really, really, really enjoy it. And I hope you guys like the information.